there's this thing that goes around, especially in women's circles, that it's easier to submit to a man who loves you. What is your biblical take on that? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have two gentlemen that I respect very much, and we're going to be talking about marriage, submission, respect, all those things, and from a biblical perspective. Are you ready for our questions?
Yeah.
Let my people know who you are, what you do.
Yeah, my name is Marvin. I sell tech and write. Yeah, those are the two things I mostly do for money.
So websites, apps.
Yeah, and physical tech. Like, computers, phones, servers, that sort of thing.
Cool. Babe, who are you? And what do you do?
I'm your husband. I look after you at home.
The topic over there.
Okay, let's jump straight into it. What is submission?
Also, before we go, that's what I do for money. But then I am married.
Yeah, just to be clear.
Especially given the topic today. Yes, I've been married 8 years to A1 Sarah, and we have 2 daughters. Yeah.
And counting.
Let's first consult with
Sarah.
Sarah, yeah.
Okay, so what is submission?
Oh, I need to go.
Yeah. Whoever. I would want to hear the husband's perspective on submission.
Submission. Also, I think maybe submission as a word. Is to sort of be under the authority of. Yeah. So as a word, you might submit to your master if you're a slave. You might submit to your husband if you're a wife. Submit to your parent if you're a child. Everyone submits to someone. Your leader, your king, your emperor. Yeah. So, your pastor, I guess. Yeah. So I think submission is just being under the authority of. Yeah.
And now submission in the context of marriage.
Yeah. So marriage is the same thing, being under the authority of a husband. So submission to the husband is being under the authority of your husband as the head. And your husband being under the authority of Christ as his head. Right? So submit to your husband as he submits to Christ. Just as Christ submitted within the gospel, he submitted to God.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about his submission to God is that he submitted to God's authority, but he was not less than. So Christ the Son isn't less than
The Father.
the Father. So God the Son and God the Father are the same. Are equal, they are one. But Christ submits to the Father. So that's the same thing with the wife and husband. You are one, but the wife submits to
The
the
husband.
husband.
You said something about being equal.
Being equal, yeah.
Christ and the Father are equal, just like Christ submits to the Father. So
We
in a
saw
marriage,
we see in the gospel, we see him submitting to the Father,
yeah.
and the Father killing him essentially, and Christ allowing to be killed by the Father.
So now, in the context of a marriage, are the husband and wife equal?
Yes,
What does that look like?
they are both human beings, right?
Yeah.
So they're equal in that sense. And they are both Christians. In the letters we see there is no male, no female, no Jew, no Gentile. Essentially, you are one, you are equal. At equal standing, all co-heirs with Christ. In that sense. How it plays out physically sort of might depend, but generally knowing that you are equal sort of affects the way you would relate with each other. This person, the woman that you have, much as you are her leader, you are equal. So it's not like sort of a corporate structure in a corporate organization where there's a boss and it's very important and then you guys are citizens, but you are equal. The difference is in the responsibility. So the man as a leader comes with his responsibilities. So they mean that the responsibilities make him more important, but it's just different.
Also, which means that the husband that's his position as a leader. So you're like submitting to the office of
the husband.
Yeah. Meaning you know that he's the one to take initiative. So you're submitting to that fact that, you know what, this is the guy who takes or who is supposed to take initiative.
Okay. So I want now the practical aspect of submission. Say we're trying to decide where to take our kids to school. I have seen a school. I have visited it. It checks all my boxes. And I tell you, or Sarah comes and tells you, Marvin, this is where we're going to take our kids. And maybe you have a question about the school and you don't want the kids to go there. Whose decision takes the day?
I guess, okay, first of all, in this discussion, I have to separate the ideal from the real. And as Christians, we live in the real, trying to grow towards the ideal. Right? So the ideal is Christ, and we are trying to be like Christ. So we're growing on the realities of the world.
Yeah.
And in a way, if you actually think about it, the realities of the world are sin. Right? So we're sinful beings in the realities of the world, trying to grow to Christ. And so this question, should we answer it as what would be the ideal way to go about an impasse like that one?
Yes, I want the ideal way.
Yeah, so the ideal way would also come with some presupposition. You are both Christians. You are walking in the Spirit, obeying God's commands. Right? So that would then inform decisions, general life decisions. So questions regarding the school would be, why are you taking a child to that school? Why do you want the school? If it's that when you go there, you feel good.
It looks nice, has nice swings.
I mean, that's the nice swings and good campus might be good. That's for the child. But there's also reasons for the parent. Sometimes international by name, and when people ask you say, hey,
international school. Bragging rights.
No?
Yeah.
But so you look into all these things. I mean, we're doing with ideal, right? So why do you want that school? So if you're both genuine about it, you sit down and lay out your reasons why you want that school. And if you find some selfish reason, some self-fulfilling reasons in there, that would be something to check. Because the purpose of the school is to educate a child. It's
not so that you can look rich.
The parents' bragging rights. It's not, what else is there? Sometimes we just be that, man, I want to spend the least amount of time dropping and clicking.
Yeah.
Which sometimes the convenience could be useful because then you get maybe work earlier, but sometimes it could be just laziness. Just want the child to be next door. So that I don't have to pick at all.
The help can work for the child.
Send someone to pick the child in the evening and send someone to drop the child in the morning, and I will go and do my own things. So like forget the children and do my own thing. So those are things to think about. So you sit down and consider it and dealing with the ideal, and I'm sure you come to sort of something amicable where you sort of understand that, hey, I was wrong here, I was wrong here, I was wrong there.
I like that you say that. Have a conversation but also both of you believe sort of the same things, like you have the same value system, and you're having a conversation. It's not you are dictating over Sarah.
Yeah.
That's not the school we're going to. End of story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these days in the modern era that we live in, sometimes some others would dictate. Like, this is what my child is doing. And if the father even brings up the argument, so this can be a nice argument.
Yeah.
And it's like, we can't afford it, finish. Sorry. And the mother says, no, look for the man. You know,
I have my money, I can pay.
There's that as well. So,
Yeah.
it's important that as Christians, you sit down and discuss and check your hearts. And try to do what's best for the child.
There's this thing that goes around, especially in women's circles, that it's easier to submit to a man who loves you. What is your biblical take on that?
Well, I think also another thing, again, back to the ideal situation. These commands to love, to submit, to are to the individual. You get so the command to a woman to submit to her own husband, as Peter puts it in 1 Peter, is for her to do regardless of her husband's actions.
Yeah.
Of course, if there's things like violence and all that stuff, that's a safety issue. Right? It's different. Remember, so submission is not obedience.
Yeah.
Saying the authority that the husband has over is not for you to obey everything he commands. Right? So if there's of course violence, you can step away for safety's sake, but it's not the same as not submitting.
Or value disparity, like his
example. Value disparity indeed. So your role in this equation is to submit, regardless of the husband's actions and ways, and vice versa as well. The man's role is to love his wife. If regardless of what she does, that's his job, is to love. The other things, of course, early love was to help her if it's help to make her better. And I think as we read this, you see to purify her. That's why it's lead the church. But the role is to love her. Perfect example in the Old Testament, we see what's his name? Hosea and Gomer. She was some of those words that were used in English. It's not.
She was a woman of whoredom.
I don't know if he's in the H word. Flying the military is just H word is sometimes used in some of the violence. But yeah, we know what she was. But let's just say, for example, some people who might not know the story, she was sort of like a woman of the night. Right? But God had commanded him to marry her. And he married her. And she still continued in her ways. And God's command was for him to continue with her.
Go and get her.
And bring back. So he kept going and picking her, bringing her back, going, bring her back. And it's sort of that story is sort of like, it relates to the story of Christ and the church. All God and Israel, for that matter. So we as a church are sinful. Right? We often stray, and God brings us back. So Christ doesn't say, this place now I've filled up. We just left them to go their own ways, but He goes, brings us back. We stray, He goes and brings us back. And so for the husband, in this case, remember, he is commanded to love his wife as Christ loved the church. So in that same way, you sort of love. That's love regardless of. And that type of love is intentional. It's like it's agape. We often use agape to mean just love, which is not eros. But that's not it, because there's filial love, that love for your sibling. That's love which has no choice. You found your siblings there, your parents.
You have to
stuff.
love them.
You find yourself, it's not that you have to force yourself to love them, but you find yourself loving them.
Yeah.
Or Eros, when you're attracted to your wife, you find yourself, you just go
Loving her.
Yeah.
You get, it's easy to love that person you're attracted to. Yeah, but agape is intentional. It's like God's love for us. He chose to love us regardless of how it sounds really more like I love this. And so as Christians, that's the love we're called to.
Yeah.
And so a husband to his wife is not just Eros love, but it's
It is so
agape love
agape.
as well, where he has to choose because they're no angels.
Yeah.
There's this, I don't know if it's a quote or a meme that used to go around where people would say, when a man marries a woman, if she's a good woman, it becomes like a comedian or something like light-hearted.
Yeah.
And if she's a bad wife, it becomes a philosopher.
Motivational speaker.
Motivational.
Yeah.
But the question is, are they a good women?
Now you're going to tell us.
Right? I'm not saying, I'm not in the worldly sense of as man, man is fake, this man, no, but like when you think of human beings in God's eyes, no one is good. When the Pharisees were talking to Christ, he told him and said, no one is good. Only God in heaven is good. No, he said, don't call me good. They got him a good teacher.
Yeah.
Don't call me good. Only God in heaven is good. So we know that we here on earth, none of us is good. Therefore, if you get that and you put it in that
Context.
in that context, who are men feels
Yeah.
motivational speakers or men of sorrows, as they like to say on the our WhatsApp group.
Men of
Yeah,
sorrows.
so it is clear. God with these, it's clear that obviously a woman will favor a man and a man will favor a woman as marriage
At some point,
At some point, you do something and to make you feel like, man, woman, you gave me, you know. But the command is love the person.
So you submit anyway.
You submit anyway. And that also brings us to, where is that scripture? It's here. Yeah, so in Peter, where chapter 3 begins, there's talking about living godly lives in a pagan society. So translate it to now, living godly lives in a worldly society, which we are in. So he talks about different things, slaves, their masters. When he gets to chapter 3, after talking about all those things, and talks about how Christ didn't retaliate when insults were hurled at him. He still bore our sins. Right? So he talks about all those things, and gets to chapter 3 and says, wives, in the same way, submit yourselves to your own husbands, so that if any of them do not believe the word, so in this case, you couldn't say, them being fake, they know God doing fake things.
Yeah.
If any of them does not believe the word, they may be won over without words, but by the behavior of their wives, when they see the purity and reverence of your lives. Right.
So that answers the question. Can I submit to a man who is not born again?
As long as it's your husband and you
submit to your own husband.
Yeah.
Now, I want us to now get down to respect. People say men will easily respect, and that's why God commanded them to love, because love will not come easily for them. And for us, we'll not easily respect, but we shall easily love. So what does respect in marriage look like? Do you even believe that thing, that quote, or that saying?
There's a verse that has respect.
Ephesians.
That's in Ephesians 5, right? Where they talk about
33.
33. That's at the end of that.
The end of
that.
Five.
So he has that whole thing as well. That's like where it was slaves and us children and the parents and children. So I guess husbands and wives really ends at 33.
Yes. You can find it. And maybe just to paraphrase it talks about how husbands, you need to love your wives. Yeah. And then wives,
submit to your husband.
Respect.
With respect.
Yes. Yeah. So my understanding anyway of what is respect in a marriage? Respect, according to me, is something that is equal. It's sort of like a mutual understanding between the two of you. If my man likes maybe the chair in this position, or he loves his chair, no one should sit in it, then yeah, everybody must respect that. If my wife loves maybe to be given tea maybe before bed, and she'll be mad if you don't give her tea, yeah, you respect that and give her the tea.
Some people will say that the man doesn't. He's not told. You don't tell him to bring me tea.
Yeah, but respect is sort of more mutual than like submission, where I respect you to according to where I know this will tip her off. These are her buttons. I shouldn't press that. Or she's my wife. There's some things I can't do to her or for her. Same for you. So it's also that I think the challenge comes in with the expectation. The expectation which has not been communicated of, for me, this is what respect feels to me. If I talk to you and you talk back at me without like digesting what I just said, you're disrespecting me. Some people. Yeah. So in summary, that's what. Yeah.
I want to give some examples, but
Also, in the submission bit, remember, in the submission, we often have that, men love, women submit, finished. But there's where it talks about submitting
to
another, yeah.
So there's the submission that men
have to
also do.
their wives. And so an element of submission is submitting to the person's desires, like, so you submit to. So
that tea before bed.
Yeah, so it's the thing he loves, the thing he desires. So part of your sort of submission, I guess, would be, next thing. So if your wife likes flowers, and you can afford flowers,
and you don't like
that, I for one don't see the point.
Yeah.
Neither do I.
But yeah. But earlier on in our marriage, it's like flowers, so I used to do flowers
every day.
It became easier by the time birthday,
flowers.
they started reminding me, and it's always fun. Send flowers, Valentine, send flowers. She said,
I'm done.
but I think it's a point because they're not practical gifts. They don't do anything. So like if you give someone a phone,
we're offending all the flower lovers.
but it's useful flowers and they look nice. One name.
But you can comment in the comments below what flowers mean
to you.
Yeah. And the flowers. And
the point.
Flowers. Different species have different things. They bring a different vibe.
I don't
and
know.
some people like flowers. But sort of submitting to your wife's likes
desires.
and desires. Well, they are feelings. Feelings are a big part of
women.
Yeah, naturally. This is the way God made women. So it's very easy and something that is a bit difficult for me.
Yeah.
It's sort of submitting to a feeling. She's like, I'm like, why are you feeling?
Just snap out of it.
That doesn't make sense. Is that making rational back to all the events? Like, this will not cause this, but somehow it does. Right? And so sort of understanding your wife. So that's submitting her feeling. This is respectful and there's another scripture that has to do with because I find it. I'll continue back.
And I think on top of the submission, one which is a tricky one is the area of sex, where she's tired. Usually, that's something which it's something which I think a lot of husbands don't understand. I have a headache. Could be a genuine headache. Or I'm so tired. I've had a long day. My boss did this. My boss. Please, can I sleep? So
2 minutes, KB.
the submission, I think that's where it really tests us.
So who submit?
Yeah. No, like the thing is, so for things like that, it's mutual submission.
I respect.
Yeah.
So you sort of understand the situation. So the wife is, she's tired. Hey, but also the wife understands maybe the man.
Need
Been like,
to
At
have-
that point, it is.
Yeah.
So all that whole
Yeah.
thing. So you sort of both
balance each
balance it
other.
out and try to submit to one another.
So now, liberal and conservative men. Can one be liberal or conservative and still be a godly man? And how does that look like?
Let me I want to ask you a question around liberal and conservative. What is what kind of men do you consider liberal and which kind do you consider conservative?
The liberal men are whatever goes. Like, so I'll go and serve myself food, or the conservative man will most likely not.
Yeah.
So
My
what
wife
you
has to
mean,
serve
how-
my food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's something that you need to have a discussion with your man, your husband, or your wife, because there are also wives who are
Conservative.
and liberal.
Like, what are you doing in the
Yeah.
kitchen? I have to serve your food.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a discussion you need to have with your partner before you get married, or when you get married and you didn't, or if you're now married and you didn't, maybe have a date and have that discussion, because it's not fair to your husband to tell him there's his husband hugs him even in the supermarket. For you can't even hold my hand. You're not a loving what? You're not a loving husband.
Yeah.
Every wedding we go to, you don't want to even look at me in the even at church.
You don't even sit next to me. They're talking to
even
me.
at church when they say, tell your neighbor.
You look at me.
Yeah, hold your neighbor's hand. Oh, tell your neighbor, I love you. It's like, you're really
Struggling.
Yeah, you're pushing someone to the wall. And so it's a discussion which you can't, like Marvin said, there's no black and white. You can't say men must be liberal, men must be conservative, because you have to know this guy grew up in a home where the father was the alpha of the home. If they say there's no posho the whole of this week, it's okay. Let's do matoke. Even if there's posho like 100 kgs, he says nope.
No eating food.
Yeah. And if he says you guys are not going to school this term, it's okay. So it's important to understand where he came from. And especially, I think, here in Africa, we also have a lot of, and certain regions of the country, there are some things you can't say, some things you can't do. I think sometimes you may go and visit your parents and you find that maybe your wife somehow has disappeared, or your husband. Some cultures, you find that the wife's parents or wife's mother can't like sit in the same room or face eye to eye with. Then you're forcing him to go and go and touch her, go and hug her. No, it's okay. You be there.
Yet in that setting, it's disrespectful.
Yeah, you may find that now she goes and starts consulting with the ancestors if she might be.
If she married the right man.
Especially things which are not like outright sin.
Yeah.
Things which are not do or die, they're not outright sin. I often ask myself, will I die?
If I serve my food, will I die?
If I serve my food, will I die? Sometimes
you might.
Whether I say, no, I won't die. And then it can go whether I think, if my wife does that, will she die?
Yeah.
All I see will I die is for me.
And stretch it.
It's supposed to be, that's my own thing. I mean, I do this.
Yeah.
But now, of course,
Not you thinking that will Sarah die if she does that.
Then I force her to do that because she won't die.
Yeah.
It should be something from within and to say, will I die? Because the truth is, the serving yourself food is not a sin. And you won't die, you won't go sick, nothing will happen. You get food. You eat food and get food. Yeah. So yeah, those are sort of relative things. Right? So they're subjective. Yeah, that's the word. They're subjective. Yeah, it's a couple thing like I said. Sit down before, hopefully at selection stage.
Dating.
Yeah. So that's where a lot of these things lead together because expectations are then resolved at that point. Yeah, but this is not that people who are already married should despair. I think they can also be worked upon, especially as you grow as Christians. If you look to the Lord and you stand in the Word as you grow, you can resolve some of these things even in marriage, but it's easier when you resolve all these expectations at selection stage and know, your person, the person you're going to marry, what do they like, what's their culture like. Okay. But it's difficult because people marry when they're young. When they're young, it's exciting.
Yeah. So now if I have, say, something I want to attend over the weekend, and do I inform or I ask for permission as a wife?
Okay. Are we on the topic of conservatism or liberalism?
No.
Okay.
We're still in the same bracket.
Because those seem like liberal versus conservative ideas, the two that you put forward.
So tell me, what is the ideal if I have something I want to attend or a purchase I want to make, and I come to let you know? Do I let you know I'm seeking your permission?
I think that's really that's okay. Regarding a purchase, also that really depends on the couple.
Yeah,
the way they run their finances, the way they view money. There's a lot into that.
Okay, let's leave the purchase.
No, but still, it's important to sort of have the ideas, especially if it's a big purchase. And size of purchase, of course, might be relative from couple to couple. However, as a percentage, as a general percentage of what they own or have, it matters, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's I think it depends on a couple, but there's good manners. So these things. Like you don't just buy a house.
Okay, let's first leave the purchase. I have an email.
Going somewhere. I don't think either is it's like you're informing but asking for permission at the same time. It's not like a P1 child wanting to go to the NU and asking the teacher, can I go to Susu?
We used to do this.
It's not that.
Yeah.
Neither is it I'm going to this concert by.
Point of information.
Basically, I'm going to do what you want. It's neither of those.
So respect.
Yeah, it's just respect. Like talk to the person, say, I want to go to this concert.
Yeah.
And if you're in good communication, saying I want to go to this concert means you plan to go.
I've decided to.
Not that I've decided, but I'm thinking about doing it.
I'm hoping you agree.
This has the thing of what do you think?
Yeah. So now, if you said don't agree with the event that she's going for, how do you say no without crashing?
You say don't agree with it, I think.
And then?
Yeah, I think you just say you don't agree with it. I know you don't think it's right. It's different from saying no, don't go. You put your
opinion.
Your opinion. Put it there, put its reasons, everything. And I think if she decides to go,
if she respects you.
No,
respects your opinion.
Your opinion could be fake. So it's one of those things.
I don't like those things.
It's like go. I don't like those concepts. Yes. But that's not really.
There's no reason.
No reason why I don't like the concept. And the other thing, sometimes it's just a communication issue.
Yeah.
You're not going in depth. I remember there's a video that came out many years ago by this Swiss philosopher called Alain de Botton. She's called Why You Will Marry the Wrong Person.
No.
Definitely not.
And it was just talking about communication. Like you can't read the mind of the other person.
Yeah, you have to let you know.
Yeah. So it would require, and it's difficult to me sometimes. I struggle with communication, but if you don't want her to go to the concert, you have to present all the reasons, sit and discuss the idea of concerts. Where do you like concerts? Why are they loathsome to you? Is it past trauma from concerts? Is it the noise that you don't like at the concerts, things like that. And sometimes the reasons don't even make sense. Sometimes, like if noise is an issue for you, it may not be an issue for her. Yeah. So it could be even worse. It could be insecurities. Like the man is good for you. Things like that. So you really have to communicate. And by the way, weirdly, something we don't. As humans, it's something we rarely communicate to each other. But if a man has insecurity or a woman has insecurity, communicate, sit down and talk about it.
Like maybe I struggle in this environment.
So if a woman feels, sometimes it's weird. If a woman feels, when a man talks to her, like, she feels a certain way, she can talk to him. And then, what is weird?
Some the guy can think you're just insecure.
Just insecure. But even then, I think, in my personal opinion, even an insecurity like that, there has to be a reason. So
Stems from something.
if you both sort of mature adults, mature Christians, you can sit down and say, okay, this insecurity, let's work through it. What is the problem?
Yeah. Find the source. Find the source to why is this person who they are. That means you need to talk more. Most people don't talk. That's where the problem comes from.
And the top tip, if they want you to go to a concert, because maybe that concert time you sit with her.
And hold her hand.
That concert time, let's sit and talk about this whole insecurity like you have. That will give the husband's good mileage, like 3 months of good peace.
Like when you're at the concert, or you forfeit?
You forfeit the concert and say,
Let's talk about it.
Let me sit with you and talk about this thing.
Cool.
Let me make you happy. Like the reason man should have peace, like 3 months. That's some good mileage.
I think it helps. I think it helps, like Marvin said, you talk to your person and know your person. You have to try to understand your person. That's where the biggest problem comes in. We take our partners, let's say men, as mainly provider. He pays fees, he make children together, but like trying to understand him as a man, we don't give them enough time. Why? Probably he's mostly away from work, or we're all working people. We don't have. So at the end of the day, we're all tired. We don't purpose to learn more about each other. What happens? You find that your husband or wife has gone through some team building exercise at work or training at work that has taught them communication, pre-something communication. So maybe you might want to, top tip, tell you if the concert is in September, don't tell him the day before. Tell him in July, the advert has come out. Tell him this concert,
I want to go.
I really want to go.
Yeah.
What can I do for you to allow me? Oh, yeah.
Sometimes
think around.
I have to do something for you.
Sometimes you personality. And say now, you like overnight. You go. And you.
Okay.
think,
So when is leadership disrespectful?
Like when is a leader disrespectful? Yeah, when he misuses the authority, or expecting obedience all the time,
Or commanding
for it, domineering, things like that. Yeah, that's disrespectful and actually sinful, given the requirement of the man to take care of the woman as the weaker vessel. Right? So I think if you commanded to take care of a woman as a weaker vessel, and she's there and you just pounding. I mean, how do you pound on the weaker vessel? They have to be physical pounding, but just be domineering.
Could be verbally
words,
or your
actions, things like that. So,
I think that's it. If you're always dictating and there's no love involved, then that's disrespectful.
Okay. As we draw nigh to the conclusion, some people say that men leave because they don't feel respected in a home. What is your take as godly husbands on that?
Christ's example.
Mm.
I mean, Christ endured the ultimate disrespect. He was God, and he was being whipped. He was being
By the people he
by
made.
the people he made and the people he was saving, whipping him, beating him, doing all these things. And as he hung on a cross, he said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Right. And that's the example where that's what loving your wife as Christ loved the church is.
That is it. Yeah.
You know, he's saying, guys, of course your woman is a sinful human being.
Yeah.
Of course your wife is sinful. These things were not written expecting some angel 2,000 years from the time we were written. Of course the women are sinful.
Yeah.
And sometimes the acts that come out of their sinful nature are easier to manage. Maybe she shouts at you once in a while, easier to manage. But sometimes when she is Goma, as we spoke about earlier, it might require the same attitude
Yeah.
when she is Goma to bring her back. It's hard, of course, this stuff is easy, but we're talking about the ideal.
Yeah.
In real life, it's so difficult. But people have done it. People have forgiven. I mean, I know of people who have forgiven.
Infidelity.
Well, I mean, if it is easier for women to forgive for some reason than men.
Yeah.
For men, it's harder.
Yeah, but
then-
men are forgiven.
Yeah.
There's this Catholic nun from the early last century called Dorothy Day. She often gave this example while talking about love. So they talked to a woman whose teenage son was murdered by some older boys. So I think son might have been maybe 13, 14, and he was stabbed by like 18-year-old boys when he was 18. And so the judge asks her, what kind of punishment do you think these boys should receive? Because the son is dead, she's really bad. And she said, I think they should come and live with me. And everyone was astounded, but she said, I think they should come and live with me because the reason they did this to my son is because they never experienced love, motherly love. And therefore, if they came and lived with me, maybe they would then experience motherly love and their lives would change. Okay, well, I don't think that would, of course, hold up in court.
Yeah.
Those are those, but that kind of love where, and so I think even in the case of the husband or the wife, when they are wronged, I think looking more towards their well-being than your heart sort of matters more. Because remember, again, in the scripture, they talk about the husband presenting the wife
Without blemish.
Right? What does that entail? It entails, helping the wife be better, helping your husband be better, regardless of your heart.
Yeah. Such a high calling.
It is a high calling. Yesterday, we had a discussion with a friend of mine, and we were saying that every husband has their own cross. So you might get a wife who is struggling with childbearing. You might get a wife who is struggling with respect. Like she's perfect, but she just has that thing that really...
You can't tell her what to do.
Yeah. You find a wife who is just... She spends money like a problem. Even when you've created all kinds of systems. Even if you have 5K, go and buy bread for 5K. She'll buy bread for like 4, 5, and then 500, maybe buy a sweet or something. Just
That's being good with money.
yeah, but bread is 5K. Like that's what we need to get. So everyone has their cross in marriage. So we're just talking and saying, if you're planning to get the perfect wife, you may not. You just have to decide what what you're willing to live with. Now, There's a gentleman who gave us a very interesting analogy. He said that most people struggle with submission. Most men struggle with the issue of respect or their wife submitting to them because they are actually the problem. Women struggle to submit because of the man, not necessarily submission being the problem. Sometimes it is, but usually it is the problem. The man.
But Marvin has already dispelled that the command was given irrespective.
Exactly. So,
but it's still right because the difficulty, the thing that makes it difficult to submit to someone because of their actions is our sinful nature.
Yes.
So the idea that you love irrespective of their actions or you submit irrespective of their actions is the ideal. But our sinful nature makes it difficult.
So, if somebody asked you, would you cross a red light? Anyway, if you left the country and went to another country, would you, if the president of that country, say the United Kingdom, said, everybody, you must wear a mask on Saturday, and then you went to another country, not this one, but third world country, a third world country, and they told you, everybody, you must wear a mask on Saturday. You see, so the problem is not exactly the office, right? But the person. And yet you're supposed to submit to that person who is, that office which is an authority over you. So the issue of the men leaving because they're not being respected, unfortunately, we have to agree as men that we have to do better. Yeah, as men. Because the women have certain things that naturally God has created them to submit to. So if we fail in that area, then it's also difficult to submit as much as even if we feel like we want more submission. Because naturally, we want you to do what we tell you. Naturally, as a man, even wild animals. Wild animals. You can't find a hippo alpha and the females are doing different things to kill whichever is not
disrespectful.
Yeah. So naturally as men, we want you to do what we want. But we also have to do better as the husbands. If we are being disrespected, we need to check ourselves. Why? Is she not coming back home at 6 p.m. when I want her to come back home at 6 p.m. because she's being disrespectful? Or maybe her boss always gives her a task at 5 and somehow, so what's my decision? Do I tell her leave the job? And then what? So it's something which we have to do better as well as men. Leaving is maybe a bit of, it depends. Having talked about the situations where that might happen.
I think the men who leave usually will leave from a lack of commitment or selfishness, or I don't know.
Yeah.
So, do you guys have some parting shots?
Yeah, Marvin.
You've dropped quite a number of gems.
So as Christians, since this is we're speaking in terms of Christians.
Yes.
So as Christians, there's a topic in Christianity that we often shun, and it's suffering.
Long suffering.
Right. So long suffering in Galatians 5:22, that is patience.
Yeah.
Right. And then in 1 Peter, the way the follow on from what we read earlier,
chapter 3,
followed by the chapter 3, is suffering for doing good. Right. So this is as we relate. So finally, all of you, be like-minded, be sympathetic, love one another, be compassionate and humble. Do not repay evil with evil, Right? So remember now it says all of you. So of all the different groups that he mentioned, so including wives and husbands. So finally, all of you, wives and husbands, be like-minded, be sympathetic, love one another, be compassionate and humble. Humility is key. Without humility, it's
It's a bit difficult to respect, to submit.
Yeah. So when the woman cheats on the man, most times the man leaves because of pride.
Yeah. Your ego has been hurt. Yeah.
Right. So be humble. Do not repay evil with evil. The man has done this. The woman.
Let me retaliate.
Insult with insult. On the contrary, repay evil with blessing. Because to this you are called, so that you may inherit a blessing. Right? So he goes on and then he quotes Psalm 34. Where it's whoever would love life and see good days must keep their tongues from evil and their lips from deceitful speech. They must turn from evil and do good. They must seek peace and pursue it. For the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and his ears are attentive to their prayer. Remember, there's also love your prayers of Christ at the church.
Yes.
And ends with, so that your prayers may not be
hindered.
Right. So his ears are attentive to their prayer, but the face of the Lord is against those who do evil. Yeah. So he goes on around that. So essentially, just as Christ did, he suffered for doing good. He was without blemish.
Suffered to the point of death.
But he still suffered to the point of death. And so, sometimes marriage requires suffering for doing good, which often happens, men of souls.
Acquainted with grief. Yeah.
Right? So, so my attitude is sometimes that is there. Suffering for doing good, but do not repay evil with evil, but rather repay evil with blessing.
Wow.
It's a hard one.
Very, very tough one.
Yeah. You have to repay your wife with good, even when she's doing the worst or the most,
Yeah.
It's quite a difficult one. But I think for me, my parting shot would be, after watching this video, if this is something that is really an issue for you, you need to make time with your partner. Sit down together and understand each other. Ask your husband, what does it mean to you when your wife is submitting to you? What does it look like? Ask your wife, how can I love you? Like, how will you feel loved? Is it when I do this, buy this? Some wives, it's very simple. They just want you to be there with them, do nothing.
You're not doing nothing, you're being there.
Yeah, just being there. Watch a movie. If it's like a series, the series is like 25 episodes. And that's how she will feel so loved. It's the most boring series ever. You don't even have time for it. But you can agree, say, you know what, let's do like one episode a week. That's a good start. Just to show, there needs to be that effort, which is from the wife, but also from the husband. Because the way we submit and love each other is different from the way Marvin and Sarah will love and submit to each other. Yeah. So you can't say, but these guys, they really do their thing well. Why don't we do? Yeah, it's very, very different. So you have to understand your person, because God has brought us all in different situations because of what He wants us to do eventually as a couple. Yeah. So all of us are being refined. Yeah. The goal is, it keeps going to the fire, refined. Like Marvin said, you love even when they've really broken you. But sometimes you have this big idea. We have this trip, let's plan it for 2025, July, we'll go to this country. And she's like, let's buy land. No. Yeah,
Yeah.
And she's like, let's buy land. So Yeah, I think that would be
My parting shot is that marriage is God's idea.
Yeah.
It's not the world's idea. It's not our idea. It's not your favorite influencer's idea. It's God's idea. There's a quote that Marvin shared with me that I want to read. If you know Marvin knows everything about everything. So,
Encyclopedia moving.
hast thou seen the measure of obedience? Here also the measure of love. Wouldst thou that thy wife should obey thee as the church does Christ? Then have care yourself for her as Christ for the church. And if it be needful that thou shouldst give thy life further, or be cut to pieces 1,000 times, or endure anything, whatever, refuse it not. Christ brought his church to his feet by his great care, not by threats, nor any such thing. So do thou conduct thyself toward thy wife. So just look at Christ, he should be the model. He is the perfect. Oh, the writer is John Chrysostom. Yeah. So our measure of masculinity, of marriage, of what is Christ. Yeah. I will see you next week on Friday. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Remember, I am rooting for you.